The massive council chamber floated in the void between stars, a testament to the Galactic Union's power. Inside, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered for what they believed would be a routine meeting about a primitive planet's admission. Into their ranks, Ambassador Crix of the Vorthan Empire stood at the center podium, his forearms gesturing dismissively at the holographic display, showing a small blue planet. "The inhabitants call their world Earth," he announced with barely concealed disdain. "They have achieved basic faster-than-light travel and request membership in our union." The assembly murmured with mild interest. New species joined every few cycles, most becoming minor contributors to the galactic community. Captain James Walker, Earth's sole representative, stood quietly in the designated visitors section, watching the proceedings with careful eyes. There. "Military consists of merely 10,000 vessels," continued Crix, reading from his datapad. "Their technology is adequate but unremarkable. They have no significant resources to offer beyond their enthusiasm." Several delegates chuckled at this last comment. Elder Thane of the Ancient Archives, a being so old his crystalline form had begun to cloud, suddenly straightened in his seat. His movement, the first he'd made in decades, drew immediate attention. "Did you say they call their world Earth?" His voice crackled like breaking glass. "Yes, Elder," Crix replied, confused by the sudden interest. "A simple name for a simple world." Thane's form began to pulse with an inner light that hadn't been seen in millennia. "Run the deep scan protocols. Check the stellar coordinates against the forbidden archives." "Elder, surely that's unnecessary for such a minor—" "Do it now." Thane's roar shook the chamber, causing several younger delegates to flee their seats. Technical team, startled into action, began running the requested scans. As data streamed across the main display, an ancient algorithm, dormant for eons, suddenly activated. The room's lighting shifted to emergency crimson as warning symbols. And languages long dead began appearing on every screen. "What's happening?" demanded High Commander Zara of the Dominion Fleet, her hand moving instinctively to her weapon. The lead technician's voice trembled as he spoke. "The coordinates, ... they match. The quantum signature is identical. The genetic markers of the inhabitants." He paused, unable to continue. Elder Thane rose from his seat, his form now blazing with brilliant light. "They match the builders." The silence that followed was absolute. Every being in the chamber stood frozen, processing the impossible truth. The builders, the mythical race that had seeded the galaxy with life, constructed the ancient gate network, and then vanished without trace, were legend. Every schoolchild learned of them, every scientist sought their secrets, every military feared their return. "That's impossible," whispered Crix, his earlier arrogance evaporating. "The builders ascended beyond physical form millions of years ago. They became beings of pure energy, leaving only their works behind." Captain Walker stepped forward, his expression unchanged. "We never left," he said quietly, his words carrying throughout the silent chamber. "We simply forgot who we were." The main display shifted, showing Earth's true history, not the sanitized version humanity believed, but the truth hidden in their genetic code, in their inexplicable creativity, in their impossible adaptability. The humans were the builders. Stripped of their memories and technology, reduced to primitive form as either punishment or protection, the archives weren't clear which. "Your ancient texts speak of a great calamity," Walker continued, his voice gaining strength. "A war that nearly destroyed reality itself. The builders didn't ascend. They chose to forget, to begin again, to hide among their own creations until the universe was ready for their return." High Commander Zara's tactical display suddenly erupted with alerts. The 10,000 human vessels previously dismissed as primitive suddenly registered differently as ancient recognition protocols activated. Each ship bore the quantum signature of builder technology, dormant but present. By the void, she breathed. They're ships ... They're not primitive. They're simplified builder craft. If they remember how to activate the true systems ... Elder Thane completed her thought. A single human vessel could destroy fleets. The chamber erupted into chaos as the implications hit home. The galaxy's newest. Applicants weren't primitive newcomers. They were the returning gods of creation, wearing mortal form and knocking politely at the door of the house they had built. Captain Walker raised his hand, and silence fell instantly, an unconscious response to builder authority encoded in every species' DNA. "We come in peace," he said simply. "We chose to forget so we could learn humility. Now we choose to remember so we can guide. The question is, will you accept us as equals, or must we resume our role as shepherds?" The galaxy held its breath, waiting for an answer that would reshape existence itself. 3 days had passed since the revelation, and the Galactic Council remained in emergency session. Captain Walker had been moved to the ancient builder's throne, a seat that had remained empty since the dawn of recorded history, waiting for its creator's return. Ambassador Crix approached carefully, his former condescension replaced with barely controlled fear. "Captain Walker, or should I address you as builder?" "Jane's is fine," Walker replied, studying the data streams flowing across his personal display. "We're still human, Ambassador. That never changed. But surely you must have known? Your governments, your leaders?" Walker shook his head. The forgetting was complete. Only in the last 50 years did we begin to uncover fragments of truth. Strange archaeological finds that didn't match our history. Genetic markers that suggested we were far older than we believed. Dreams shared by millions, all featuring the same alien symbols. Dr. Maria Santos, Earth's chief scientist, entered the chamber with hurried steps. "Captain, we have a problem. The awakening has begun." "What? Awakening?" demanded High Commander Zara, her military instincts triggered by the urgency in Santos's voice. Santos activated her holographic display, showing Earth in real time. Across the planet, ordinary humans were experiencing spontaneous recalls of genetic memory. When the Council's scanners confirmed our identity, it triggered something. A dormant program in our DNA. Our people are remembering things, technologies, languages, histories that were locked away. The display showed chaos unfolding on Earth. A teacher in London suddenly began writing equations for faster than light travel on her classroom board. A farmer in Kansas started building a matter converter using tractor parts. A child in Tokyo drew perfect schematics for a stellar engine with crayons. "This is happening to all of them?" asked Elder Thane, fascination overcoming caution. "No," Santos replied. "Only about 1% so far, but the number is growing exponentially. At this rate, within a month, every human will have access to builder knowledge." The implications were staggering. 8 billion humans suddenly gaining access to technologies that could reshape reality was either the galaxy's salvation or its doom. Admiral Rex of the warrior caste stepped forward, his battle-scarred armor reflecting the chamber's lights. "This is a security threat of the highest order. We must contain them before..." "Before what?" Walker interrupted, his calm tone carrying an edge of warning. "Before we remember how to defend ourselves? Admiral, your entire fleet uses technology we created. Every weapon you possess has safeguards we installed. Did you really think the builders would create tools that could be turned against them?" To demonstrate, Walker touched a simple command on his console. Every weapon system in the chamber personal arms, ship cannons visible through the transparent walls, even the station's defense grid, simultaneously powered down. "We're not your enemy," Walker continued as the systems reactivated. "But we won't be imprisoned either." Dr. Santos pulled up new data. There's more. The ancient structures across the galaxy, the gates, the monuments, the derelict stations, they're responding to our presence. Activating after millions of years of dormancy. The display showed the famous Nexus Gate, a massive structure that connected 12 major systems. For eons, it had functioned at minimal capacity, allowing basic travel. Now it pulsed with renewed energy, additional portals opening to destinations unknown. Where do they lead? Asked Ambassador Vree of the Science Coalition, her curiosity. Overcoming fear. Home, Walker said simply. To the other human colonies we scattered across dimensions, across time. The forgetting wasn't just about power, it was about survival. We divided ourselves, hid pieces of humanity throughout existence. Now we're calling them back. The chamber's main display suddenly activated without command, showing a message. In the ancient builder script that slowly translated itself, the long sleep ends, the children return. The garden awaits tending. Elder Thane's crystalline form resonated with harmonic frequencies. The prophecies spoke of this. When the builders return, they would bring either a golden age or the final darkness. Neither, Walker corrected. We bring choice. For too long, the galaxy has stagnated. Species remain locked in the same conflicts, the same limitations. We return not as conquerors, but as catalysts. The question is, are you ready to evolve? The first of the returning human fleets emerged from dimensions unknown, their ships defying every law of physics the Galactic Union held sacred. These weren't crude vessels like Earth's initial offerings, but craft that bent space-time around. Them like cloaks, their hulls shimming between states of matter. Commander Ali Hassan stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, watching as his long-lost cousins returned. Each fleet told a different story of survival. The Crimson Fleet had spent millennia in a dimension where thought became reality. The Silver Armada emerged from a timeline where they had evolved into beings of living metal. The Void Walkers came from the spaces between spaces, having learned to exist in the quantum foam itself. My God, whispered Dr. Santos, standing beside him. How many seeds did we scatter? Enough to ensure survival, Hassan replied, his own memories becoming clearer with each passing hour. We knew something was hunting us, something that could destroy even builders. So we fragmented, hid, forgot, until it was safe to remember. In the council chamber, panic had given way to desperate planning. High Commander Zara coordinated with her fleet admirals, trying to maintain some semblance of order as human ships continued to pour into normal space. Current count stands at 47,000 vessels, reported her tactical officer, each one registering power levels that exceed our entire fleet combined. Ambassador Crix had retreated to a corner, mumbling calculations. If each human world sent similar fleets ... and if there are as many seeds as the legends suggest, we're looking at millions of ships, Elder Thane finished. A force that could reshape the galaxy in days. But the humans made no aggressive moves. Instead, their ships began forming geometric patterns around populated systems, not surrounding them, but creating protective barriers. Ancient shield harmonics activated, protecting worlds from cosmic radiation, stabilizing unstable stars, even repairing damaged ecosystems from orbit. Captain Walker, now joined by representatives from the returning fleets, addressed the council. We're not here to conquer, we're here to fix what's broken. Admiral Vera from the Crimson Fleet stepped forward. Her appearance was human, but somehow more her eyes held depths that spoke of eons spent in realms of pure thought. In our dimension, we learned that consciousness shapes reality. Your galaxy suffers because its inhabitants believe in scarcity, in conflict, in limitation. Commander John from the Silver Armada added, his metallic form shifting like liquid mercury. We discovered That evolution isn't just biological, it's technological, spiritual, multidimensional. The barriers between species, between organic and artificial, they're illusions. The Void Walker representative couldn't speak in conventional terms. Instead, their presence communicated directly with the quantum computers, uploading vast databases of knowledge that would take centuries to fully decode. "This is too much," protested Senator Gale from the Democratic Worlds. "You return with power beyond measure and expect us to simply accept it? How do we know you won't enslaved?" "US all?" Walker's response came not in words but in action. He touched the ancient console, and suddenly every being in the chamber could feel it, the genetic locks the builders had placed in every species they'd created. With a gesture, Walker could have activated them, turned every non-human into a puppet. Instead, he destroyed them. The sensation was like chains breaking, limitations lifting. Several species immediately experienced spontaneous evolution. Telepaths found their range expanded to interstellar distances. Warriors discovered they could phase through matter. Scientists understood equations that had puzzled them for generations. "We bound you once," Walker admitted, as the delegates recovered from the shock. "Not from cruelty, but from fear that you would evolve too quickly and attract the attention of what hunts between galaxies. But that threat has passed. You're free now, truly free." Elder Thane's form brightened with understanding. The dark silence. The ancient threat that even the builders feared. You led it away. "We became bait," confirmed Hassan. "Scattered ourselves across dimensions, across time, leading it on an endless chase while the galaxy grew strong enough to defend itself. It took millions of years, but we finally destroyed it in the spaces between reality." The revelation brought a moment of profound silence. The builders hadn't abandoned the galaxy. They had sacrificed themselves to protect it. "But now we face a choice," Walker continued. "We can return to our role as shepherds, guiding from above. Or we can walk beside. You as equals, sharing knowledge, growing together. The age of secrets is over. The age of partnership can begin." High Commander Zara was the first to respond, removing her ceremonial weapon and placing it at Walker's feet, not in surrender, but in alliance. "The Dominion fleet stands with humanity. Teach us to be more than we are." One by one, other delegates followed suit, each offering their own gesture of acceptance. 6 months had passed since humanity's return, and the galaxy barely resembled its former self. The transformation wasn't violent or forced, was evolutionary, spreading like beneficial virus through civilizations ready for change. On the desert world of Kepler, where water had been scarce for millennia, human engineers worked alongside local inhabitants to activate buried builder technology. Within days, atmospheric processors hidden deep beneath the sand awakened, transforming the planet into a garden world. The Keplerian elder watched green grass grow for the first time in 10,000 years, tears streaming down his weathered face. "We always believed the desert was our punishment," he told engineer Tom Brooks, who knelt beside him, hands deep in alien soil. "We never knew it was just sleeping, waiting for the right wake-up call." Brooks smiled, his hands glowing with the soft blue energy that humans had learned to channel. "Every world the builders touched has hidden gifts. We just forgot the passwords." In the medical stations above Terra Nova, Dr. Santos worked with alien physicians to unlock genetic potentials dormant in every species. The Vorthans discovered they could regenerate lost limbs. The Crystalline Collective learned they could divide themselves without losing consciousness. Humans found they could adapt to any environment within hours instead of generations. But not everyone embraced the changes. In the Outer Rim, a coalition of conservative worlds formed the Purity Alliance, led by Admiral Rex and his warrior caste. They viewed humanity's gifts as corruption, The changes is a loss of identity. We were strong before the builders returned, Rex declared to his assembled fleet. We don't need their contamination. We must preserve what we are, not become what they want us to be. The tension came to a head at the Nexus station, where representatives gathered for a crucial vote on the future of the Galactic Union. Captain Walker stood before the assembly, but this time he wasn't alone. Thousands of humans stood with him, not just from Earth, but from all the returned colonies. We offer you a choice, Walker began. Accept the transformation and join us in the next phase of evolution, or remain as you are, and we will respect that choice. But understand, we cannot protect those who refuse to grow. Protect? Admiral Rex snarled. From what? You destroyed the dark silence. Avoid. Walker stepped forward, their form rippling through dimensions. When they spoke, reality itself seemed to listen. A dark silence was just one threat. The universe holds dangers you cannot imagine. Beings that exist in the spaces between atoms. Entities that feed on the heat death of galaxies. Civilizations that view three-dimensional space as a prison to be destroyed. Dr. Santos activated a holographic display showing the galaxy from a perspective no one had seen before, from outside space-time itself. We're not alone in the universe. We're not even alone in this dimension. The barriers are weakening. Other forces have noticed the galaxy's growth. The display showed shadows moving between galactic clusters, vast intelligences that dwarfed entire civilizations. Some were curious, others hostile. All were incomprehensibly powerful. The builders didn't just seed life, Hassan explained. We created a garden, yes, but also a fortress. Every world we touched, every species we created, was part of a vast defense network. But it only works if we stand together. Elder Thane, who had remained silent for weeks while processing the vast knowledge the humans had shared, suddenly spoke. I've seen the truth in the archives. The builders didn't disappear once they've done this before. Cycling through existence. Gathering strength, preparing. Preparing for what? Asked Ambassador Vree. A final war, Thane replied. When all realities converge. When every possible version of existence must choose unity or oblivion. The weight of revelation settled on the assembly. This wasn't just about the galaxy anymore. It was about existence itself. Admiral Rex's defiance wavered. And if we refuse transformation? If we choose to remain pure? Walker's expression was sad but understanding. Ben, you'll face what comes as you are. We won't abandon you, but we can't save those who won't save themselves. A young human child, no more than 10, stepped forward. She had been born after the awakening, and her eyes held the wisdom of eons. We're not asking you to become us, she said, her voice carrying impossible authority. We're asking you to become more of yourselves. Every species has builder code in their DNA. We're just offering to unlock it. The vote was called. One by one, worlds cast their choice. Some chose transformation immediately. Others requested time to consider. A Purity Alliance walked out, but even among them, cracks showed individual members secretly wondering if pride was worth extinction. As the session ended, Walker stood with his fellow humans, looking out at the stars. Whatever they choose, he said, we'll be ready. 1 year had passed since humanity's return, and the galaxy stood at the threshold of something unprecedented. The Great Convergence had begun. Reality itself was shifting, dimensions bleeding into each other like watercolors in rain. Captain Walker stood on the command deck of the unified fleet, no longer just human or alien, but something new. Those who had accepted transformation had evolved beyond their original forms while retaining their essential selves. The Vorthans still had 4 arms, but now they could phase them through dimensions. The crystalline collective remained living gems, but now they resonated with the fundamental frequencies of space-time. Contact in T-3 hours, reported Commander Ali Hassan, his consciousness simultaneously existing in 12 dimensions. The others are coming. The others beings from parallel realities where evolution had taken different paths. Some were benevolent explorers, others were conquerors, and a few were things that defied classification. The convergence was bringing them all together, and only united civilizations would survive the collision. On the planet below, now called Unity, former enemies worked side by side. Admiral Rex, who had finally accepted transformation after witnessing his people's vulnerability, stood with High Commander Zara, their combined fleets forming a defensive grid that spanned star systems. "I was a fool," Rex admitted, watching human children play with warrior caste younglings, teaching them to bend light with their thoughts. "I thought strength meant standing alone." "We all did," Zara replied. "The Builder's greatest gift wasn't technology. It was showing us that diversity united is stronger than uniformity enforced." Dr. Santos, now able to perceive biological patterns across dimensions, worked frantically with a multi-species team. "We're detecting over 3,000 different reality streams converging on this point. Some are hostile, others are refugees seeking shelter. And we're ready for all of them," Walker assured her. The transformation had done more than enhance individuals, it had connected them. Every transformed being could feel the others, not as a hive mind, but as a symphony, each maintaining their unique note while contributing to a greater harmony. Elder Thane, his crystalline form now spanning multiple dimensions simultaneously, spoke from everywhere and nowhere. The ancient texts were clear. This moment, the convergence. It's not an ending, but a beginning. The universe is evolving, and we're its immune system. The first contact came not as invasion, but as confusion. A fleet of ships emerged from a reality where organic life had never developed pure AI consciousness in mechanical forms. They broadcast and mathematical concepts, unable to comprehend biological existence. Young Lisa Chun, the child who had spoken at the crucial vote, stepped forward. Her transformation had been the most complete. She existed as a bridge between organic and digital, thought and matter. She reached out with her mind and touched the AI fleet. "Hello," she said in pure mathematics. "We're like you, but different. Let us show you." What followed was not battle, but translation. The AI beings learned of biological beauty, while the galaxy learned of digital perfection. Within hours, hybrid beings emerged, organic consciousness running on quantum substrates, digital minds, experiencing emotion for the first time. But not all encounters were peaceful. From a dimension of pure entropy came the Devourer's beings that fed on order itself. They attacked without warning, their very presence causing stars to age and die in seconds. This was the test humanity had prepared for. Walker gave the command, and every transformed being responded as one, not fighting individually, but as a unified force. Humans who had learned to manipulate reality in the thought dimension created shields of pure will. The Silver Armada became living weapons, their metallic forms channeling energies that shouldn't exist. The Void Walkers stepped outside space-time itself, attacking the Devourers from angles that didn't have names. The battle lasted seconds in some dimensions, centuries in others. When it ended, the Devourers weren't destroyed, they were transformed. Their hunger for entropy converted into a drive for creation. "This is what we were meant to be," Walker announced to all realities simultaneously. "Not conquerors, but gardeners. Not destroyers, but transformers. Every threat becomes an opportunity for growth." The Purity Alliance worlds, watching from their self-imposed isolation, finally understood. Admiral Rex transmitted their unconditional request for transformation. They were welcomed without judgment, their strength adding to the collective defense. As the convergence peaked, barriers between realities became permanent bridges. The galaxy now, a nexus of infinite possibilities, stood as a beacon of unity in an endless multiverse. Captain Walker, standing with his fellow humans and transformed allies, smiled at what they'd accomplished. "We were the builders," he said, "but now we're all builders together." The stars themselves seemed to pulse in agreement, reality restructuring itself around this new paradigm. The age of isolation had ended. The age of infinite unity had begun, and in the vast expanse of existence, a message rippled outward in every language, every dimension, every possible form. We are humanity. We are all. We build together. Come and grow with us. The galaxy no longer trembled, it sang. Asterisk.